How's it going, guys? Dragon Star Production here, back with another What If video, except this time it's going to be another full movie edition. This, however, is going to be a Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT edition of the full movie of What If the Z Fighters Learn Fusion Early, a collab that I did with Sacred Saiyan. So if you guys like these full movies, be sure to like this video, comment down below, and let me know what you want to see other videos that I'm going to do. With that said, let's get into the video.
What if the Z Fighters learned fusion early? So this series begins in Otherworld after the Saiyan saga, where all of the fallen Z Fighters arrive on King Kai's planet to receive training from the god. This is where the timeline begins to diverge from canon, because instead of the fallen Z Fighters facing off against the Ginyu Force, King Kai instead has them face off against Metamorians. After defeating these Metamorians, they all begin to learn the fusion dance from them, other than Chaozu. Piccolo being the fastest to learn the technique, with Tien learning it shortly after, and even though Yamcha takes longer than Piccolo and Tien, he still does eventually learn the technique. The events of Namek remain the same, since Piccolo wouldn't have the chance to teach anyone the fusion dance, meaning Goku still becomes a Super Saiyan and defeats Frieza. We now skip 3 years into the future, and Goku falls ill to the heart virus, dying and leaving the safety of the Earth in the hands of his friends. And only a few short months later, 2 androids arrive and begin to decimate a city. One by one, the Z Fighters attempt to face the android menace, however each of them are killed. Gohan is still trying to defeat the androids, however he is severely outmatched, and when Android 18 is about to finish him off, she is kicked into a building. Tiencha has arrived on the battlefield. Tien and Yamcha knew that alone they wouldn't stand a chance, but when fused they actually slightly overpower Android 18. Tiencha shouts for Gohan to run, he will hold the androids off. Gohan says he can help, but Tiencha tells Gohan that if he dies, then their final hope against the androids will be lost. Gohan then reluctantly flies away, and then Tiencha looks back to Android 18, Android 17 now flying beside her, and as Gohan flies off, he can only hear the screams of Tiencha, and then a huge explosion. We now skip into the future once again, where Gohan is trying to not only teach Trunks Super Saiyan, but he also finally taught Trunks how to do the fusion dance. Gohan learned the technique from Piccolo sometime before the androids emerged. Gohan puts his arm on Trunks' shoulder, and he tells Trunks that as soon as Trunks gets taller, they will be able to fuse, and finally defeat the androids and save the future. Trunks smiles, but then the 2 Half Saiyans hear an explosion in a nearby city, and Gohan knows it is too dangerous for Trunks, so he knocks him out, and he goes to face the androids for the final time. When Trunks finally wakes up, he finds the body of Gohan, and he is finally pushed to unlocking Super Saiyan, and he blames himself for Gohan's death. If only he was taller, then him and Gohan could have fused and Gohan wouldn't be dead. Trunks will avenge Gohan no matter what. We now skip to more years into the future, where Bulma has finally finished the time machine, and Trunks travels to the past to give Goku the heart virus medicine and warn him of the androids. Goku would then explain the threat of the androids to the other Z Fighters, and they would all go off to train for the 3 years before they arrive. Piccolo teaching both Goku and Gohan the fusion dance to use against the androids if they aren't strong enough to face them alone. However, Goku still forgets to take the heart virus medicine, meaning the arc remains the same for now, with Goku being taken to get the heart virus medicine, and Vegeta showcasing Super Saiyan for the first time, decimating Android 19, and forcing Gero to flee and release Android 17 and Android 18. The 2 androids then overpowering the Z Fighters, however letting them live, and the events go on to remain the same all the way up until the Cell Games. Goku would face Cell as usual, but this time, after quitting the match, Goku resorts to his backup plan. However this time that backup plan doesn't involve Gohan. Goku gets a Senzu Bean from Krillin and he throws the Senzu Bean to Cell, telling him to eat it. He's gonna need it. Cell looks confused, however he eats the bean, and Goku asks Trunks if he is ready. Trunks nods, and then Cell looks in amazement, as Goku and Trunks perform the fusion dance in front of his very eyes. Everyone looks in shock, as Troku is born, and Cell is excited to face the fusion. However, unfortunately for him, Troku in base form alone overpowers Cell, and once Troku transformed into Super Saiyan, he ends the fight with a full power Kamehameha, completely erasing the bio-android and leaving nothing left for Cell to regenerate from. Troku would then defuse, and the Dragon Balls would then be gathered, reviving everyone killed by Cell and also reviving the androids. Then, a day or so later, Trunks returns to the future, and he finally takes out the androids, but back in the present timeline, we now have the 7-year time skip, with the big difference being that Goku is still alive. Goku and Vegeta would learn Super Saiyan 2 during this time, and since Goku is around, Gohan does train a bit more than in canon, meaning in terms of base form, he is stronger than his canon self. However, Gohan never accesses Super Saiyan 2 here, meaning he is weaker overall. However, there is another half Saiyan who unlocks Super Saiyan 2, that being Goten, who is stronger than his canon self and stronger than Trunks, since Goku is there to train him, and Goku teaches Goten the fusion dance as well, which Goten helps Trunks learn since they think fusion is awesome. The World Martial Arts Tournament remains the same, other than Goten beating Trunks in the Kids division. And when Gohan powers up against Kibito, Spopovich and Yamo drain less energy from him since he is weaker. We now head to Gohan's fight with Deborah. However, since Gohan doesn't have Super Saiyan 2, he can't even hope to compete with the King of the Demon Realm, meaning Vegeta has to step in and he kills the demon himself. This means Piccolo and Krillin are reverted from stone, and then when Goku, Vegeta and Gohan do rock paper scissors to face the opponents in Bobby's ship, the order is slightly changed, so Gohan faces Pui, while Goku still faces Yakon. Bobbly would try to control Vegeta, but since Goku was alive during the time skip, and would have had multiple battles with the Prince, Vegeta isn't going to let Bobbly control him here, so Majin Vegeta never happens, and Bobbly is killed, and Buu is never released from his egg. Shin and Kibito thank the Saiyans for their help, and they then take Buu's egg away.
So since GT takes place after the end of Z, that will actually take place as normal, as well as the Black Star Dragon Ball saga, because, well, there's not really going to be much changes or much need for fusion there, plus Goku can't really fuse with anybody there, Trunks can't fuse with Pan can't fuse with Trunks, so in that case, that's not going to change at all. However, the next arc, fusion does play a much bigger role, now entering the Baby Saga. The beginning does start out the same, in fact, all the way to the Goten and Gohan being infected by Baby. This is when Vegeta actually comes in, but being forced to actually combat a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and a Super Saiyan 2 Goten. Vegeta is struggling quite a bit against the Super Saiyan 2, especially because they're possessed by Baby, so they're not holding back any punches. Goten then would nail Vegeta in the gut as Gohan kicks Vegeta straight to the ground. Vegeta though refuses to give up, but Gohan and Goten have a plan to sure enough take down Vegeta. The two baby-controlled brothers perform a fusion dance, leaving Vegeta severely outmatched, as Gohten, which I'm spelling it Gohten, was extremely powerful, so easily he was able to cut Vegeta, and Baby took his new host, the Prince of all Saiyans, Vegeta IV. This would then lead us to Goku and Pan, and now a also possessed Trunks arriving on the battlefield after giving the Dragon Balls to Dende like they do in canon. Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 but can't hold the form, so he has to settle for Super Saiyan, as then he would charge in like he does in canon, fights against Baby, loses, and then gets saved by, well, Supreme Kai, leaving Baby to actually wish for his home planet back and does the exact same thing as he would in canon. However, I'm going to skip to the next change, and this is actually going to be when Supreme Kai gets the Divine Sacred Water to actually heal and fix everyone from being under Baby's possession. Goku now isn't left fighting alone because he has Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, and even Pan managing to help fight in this big battle against Baby. Baby, though, was much stronger than the Saiyans at this point, but Goten and Trunks decide to fuse together, instantly powering up to Super Saiyan 2 and rushing Baby. Gotenks proves to have a small speed advantage over Baby Vegeta, but not enough power to actually finish the fight. They realize that they could actually get the Sacred Water, asking, well, he starts screaming at Pan to actually get it for them. But as soon as Pan goes to get the water, Goku actually begins to transform into an Ozaru, but not just any Ozaru, the Golden Ozaru. This then knocks the water out of Pan's hand as she then gets hit to the ground. Goten then retreats from Baby Vegeta to help Pan, which leads to Goku actually controlling the form and going Super Saiyan 4 like he does in canon. And when Goku goes Super Saiyan 4, the rest of the arc is actually going to play out per normal, which brings us into the next arc, that being the Super 17 arc. And for the most part, I'm not really going to cover this because it plays out the same, but one thing to mention is that Goten and Trunks have a bigger role when they fuse to actually help and save 18 and Krillin in this fight. Gotenks fighting here actually gives 18 and Krillin a chance to escape. However, Krillin still has some words for Android 17, so he screams at him. However, 17 doesn't want to hear these words, as he actually is possessed by Dr. Mu and Giro, as he then goes for a blast on Krillin, but Gotenks actually saves him by shooting a galactic donut, and this actually wrapping around 17, blocking the attack from even being shot. 18 then grabs Krillin, as 18 has a plan to actually get her brother back. In the meantime, Gotenks was holding his own until 17 burst into the air, fusing with the Hell counterpart, creating Super 17. Goten then attempts to hold off Super 17, but ultimately they get clapped after the fusion wears off. And in fact, 17 had a beam that heads straightly towards Trunks, and the beam would actually be pretty fatal, but Goku saves the day, leaving yet another arc basically to play out the same, as the biggest change here would have been Gotenks even being involved and Krillin not dying, so I felt it was worth mentioning here. Now we enter the last and final arc of Dragon Ball GT, the Shadow Dragon Saga. This arc, unlike all the others, actually changes right from the start. Instead of Guru actually being the only Dragon Radar, Trunks, now actually being the president of Capsule Corp, uses his mother's blueprints and actually creates a new Dragon Radar. With that said, Trunks actually gathers up Goten and Gohan to actually save the Earth from what they see as their mistakes as well. They all wished on the Dragon Balls, therefore they felt it was their responsibility to actually save the world as well. With that covered, the three Half Saiyans actually encountered the mole dragon named Shinron, I believe. Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, after encountering this mole dragon, they all see that he's digging in the ground, so they decide to use their numbers to cut him off, and this actually lets the dragon not transform, so this means it's much easier to actually get the ball from him, so they simply do this by blasting him with a triple Kamehameha, easily getting the 7-star ball. On the other side of the Earth, however, Goku and Pan were handling the first 3 dragons that they fought in canon, so I'm not going to cover that. So we're going to be covering the next 2, that being Nova and Ice Shinron. Goku and Pan are actually the ones to find Nova Shinron, while Ice actually ambushes the 3 half-breeds by freezing Trunks with a single blast. Trunks being sidelined here means that Gohan and Goten did their best to actually double-team Ice. However, they both know that they have to stay guarded, realizing if the Ice hits them, they're done for. Ice then also doesn't lay off the attack either, meaning that Gohan and Goten couldn't perform the fusion dance either. That means even if they wanted to, they weren't able to. However, just because they couldn't didn't mean 2 others couldn't fuse, because this fight carries on for quite a while. Ice, out of nowhere, gets punched several times, leaving him open for an attack, as Gohan then notes that the fighter is Trunks and Majub fused. The new warrior known as Majunks. Yeah, Majunks. Has Ice actually defenseless, and Ice gets swallowed up by a Finnish Buster, giving them yet another Dragon Ball in this fight. But the celebration soon gets cut off when an immense amount of negative energy plants down on the ground, this being Sin Shinron. Sin doesn't waste any time either, leaping straight into the fight, as Majunks is strong, but Sin is another level. Luckily, Goten is able to notice this, and he gets Gohan up, fusing into Goten. Gotenks then aids Majunks in the fight against Sin, as Sin is actually surprised that he was being pushed that much, but he knew exactly what he had to do. He had to absorb all the Dragon Balls, so Sin actually gets lucky when Nova and Super Saiyan 4 Goku actually show up. The fusions have just worn off, so that means that Sin was pretty battle damaged at this point, so when Goku and Nova were actually about to go in, Sin had to think smart, and he actually used a gigantic blaze that would actually get caught all around Nova, actually giving him the Dragon Ball and the chance to actually absorb the balls before Goku could even do anything about it. This then leads to Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus the newly formed Omega Shinron. Omega was by far the strongest villain that the crew had ever fought, so Omega would grab Goku, making him look like a fool, and Vegeta, thanks to Bulma, actually comes in as a Super Saiyan 4 as he off-guards Omega Shinron with a final flash. This wasn't enough to finish off Omega, but Vegeta knew that. The final flash was strictly to give them time to perform the fusion dance, and Goku without question agrees to do it with Vegeta, and the strongest fused warrior has been brought out once again, but not any Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Gogeta was now flipping the script on Omega Shinron, making him look like the joke, as Omega Shinron couldn't even manage to hit Gogeta. Hell, Omega Shinron couldn't even manage to block one of his attacks, and Gogeta already fusing before, they knew that their time was limited, especially if they were exerting this much power, so instead of wasting any time, they would then charge up 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha that engulfs Omega Shinron. The blast was enormous, lighting up all of Earth and every surrounding planet near it. However, all of the smoke would then clear as the original Shinron the green Shenron, would come out of the smoke, which leads us into the final episode of GT, and this I couldn't change. This was arguably probably one of the best moments of all of Dragon Ball, so if you guys haven't watched it, I recommend you do so. However, with all that said, this is actually going to be where the series ends, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a pleasure working with Sacred Saiyan, and if you guys want to see more between us, let me know in the comments, like this video, and sub with the bell icon on. That way you can get any alerts whenever I upload. Also, please consider joining the Discord. We do a lot of fun things in there, like playing games, and I have an idea for Survivor, where you'll be competing against other people in the Discord, and actually have a chance to win some money, or some exclusive merch, as well as consider joining the Patreon, where you actually have an option of getting, well, some exclusive merch, as well as actually being featured in every single video, and having the chance to actually give me one of your what ifs, and me make it into tuition. With that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Big thanks to all the artists that have helped us work on this project. With that said, Dragon Star Productions is out.
Congratulations, champ. You made it to the end of the video. Now, if you hit that subscription button, that thumbs up button, and that bell icon, you won't catch a dynamite kick.